Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Eye Opener Society. My name is Gary Dean. I'm the host, and I wanted to bring you another bonus episode from here. I wanted to mention that being in the present moment is what matters. That's it, nothing else. Just the present moment. But what does that mean? So, here, let me explain it. I recall as a very young child, my very first toys. I remember some of my very first emotions. I can remember being comforted by parents, my grandmother. And as life moved on, I can remember moving on through life and trying to understand it. Prior to being a teenager, I remember again more toys that I had, the things I used to do, um, games I used to play. They're all still vivid memories. Moving on into my teenage years, I can recall going to school. I still remember the school. I remember the schoolyard. I remember the layout. I remember where the exits are. And this is all elementary school. I still recall some of the teachers. I still remember some of the projects that I've done. I recall some of the things I've written in school. I remember some of the bad things I've done and got caught. I remember some of the bad things I've done and didn't get caught. I remember the area that I lived in. I remember the building. I remember it very, very vividly. I remember every single street. I remember every single alleyway. I remember the pizza shops. And I remember which ones I preferred over others. I remember all the stores that were in the area at the time. I could probably even name them. I remember the train that was right outside on the main road, the elevated train from New York City. I remember how often the trains passed by. I still recall the sound of steel wheels on the steel tracks. I can recall still summer vacations, places I've gone, things I've done, uh, places my parents have taken my brother and I. Again, it's all vivid, vivid memories. I recall moving on to middle school, my first junior high school. Still remember the first day. I recall a lot of friends. I recall a lot of people that I interacted with. I can still recall assignments from that school. I recall a lot of the bad stuff that I done. Um, I recall many, many fond memories of cutting out of school, going different places with my friends, learning things in my own way on the streets. I remember first kiss, second kiss, third kiss, first loves, second loves. I recall all the people that were close to me at the time. I can remember cars I've ridden in. I remember the friends' cars, their parents' cars. I remember going to all the places I went to during that middle school years. I remember all the good times I had, recall all the bad times I had. I can still recall all of the emotions. I can remember being at my most happiest, and I could remember being at my lowest. In high school, I still recall going in on the first day of high school. I still recall the teachers there. I recall the ones that were good. I recall the ones that were bad. Again, I recall friends that I had during that time. I recall people that crossed my life at that time. I still remember images of me being in some of those classrooms. I still recall learning some things. I recall all of the times that I was with my friends, hanging out different places. I remember all of the girlfriends that I've had and all of the wonderful, wonderful times that we all shared. I recall just a wonderful state of being. And I also remember all of the down times too during that time as well in high school. I recall the last day of high school. I recall my graduation. I recall every moment of that day. I recall the things that I've done immediately after. I recall the jobs I've had for a day, jobs I've had for a year or more. I remember becoming more of an adult, experiencing more things, learning more things about life. I recall getting my driver's license. I recall my first car. I recall my second car, my third car. I can remember all the jobs. I can remember all the people that I worked with. I can recall getting the paychecks. I can recall all the way down to the desks that I sat in these jobs, and I could recall the memories from each one of them. I can recall moving on from there. I can recall my first marriage. I can recall every place that I lived. I can recall the addresses. I recall all of all the ways that the apartments look like that I lived in, the decorations, the carpeting, the people I rented from. I remember all of it. I remember my first divorce, everything that went wrong with it. I remember moving on from that. I remember the people that were there for the support. I recall all of the stronger friendships I made later on in life. I recall my first house. I recall selling the first house. I recall moving into all the different places I've lived. I recall moving out of state. I recall the states that I was in. I still remember the apartments and the colors that they were and the rooms. And it's all just memories that have been retained. I remember my second wife. I remember all the people that I knew during that period of my second marriage. I can recall the places that we lived there. I remember the things we used to do and all the wildness and all of the just incredible things that I've experienced. I recall jobs that, I've seen things that most people would never see ever. I recall all of the brutality of life, and I recall all of the beauty of life too, as well. I can recall meeting my third wife, who I'm with now. I recall every moment of that, how we met, where we met, the place we met in. I recall the weather. I can recall the places that her and I lived, the different places, the different addresses, the different states. There's a lot, and it's all inside of my mind as memories, and they're very clear still to this day. All of the places I've traveled through, all the little things that I have seen during those times, people I've encountered, conversations that I've had. So, what does all of that have to do with the present moment? Well, after all of these years, gathering up all of those memories and having them as golden memories, it's wonderful, wonderful memories that helped me become who I am today. I will have to say that bringing myself right here, right now, to this very moment, they matter. They mean something, and they'll always be there. We can't change that past. This very moment, right now, is the one I'm most proud of because of all of the things that has happened in the past that got me here, make me proud to be right here in this moment. And no matter how many years you have memories with, no matter how many years that brought you to this moment, you're the wiser. You have more wisdom. And with each passing second, there's going to be more wisdom. You don't have to worry about changing anything, no matter what point you are in life. You made it here. So, this moment is the only one that needs to be celebrated. We celebrated our past. We remember them. We recall them. We store them. Sometimes we have pictures. We journal things. So they're still there. But remember, all of that is what brought us to this moment. So do we have to fear anything that's upcoming? We don't, because it's not here yet. Only this moment matters. It's the only moment we should be living in. But know this, my friends, for certain. We're going to continue on. And we could continue this journey doing whatever it is we want. And no matter how long we've been on the same path, no matter what your age is, should you want to change and switch to a different road, whether it be a faster highway or a slower back road, know damn well that you can, because the future has not happened yet. It's all being shaped by this moment right now that you are in. And you're going to take all of the knowledge that you have from the past and you're going to apply it as you move on your journey. Your journey is going to continue on. It's not going to stop. Even when you're long said and done, your soul is going to carry on. So everything right now, right here, everything that built up to this very moment, all of it matters. But the present moment that you're in is the one we celebrate. It's what made us whom we are. And it's going to keep us as who we are. But like I said, should you want to change? Should there be something else that you want to do in life? Know this. Do it. You're extremely capable of doing it. And when you look back at all those times you've had, all the crossroads that you had come to, you will realize you've made choices, right or wrong. You made choices. And those choices led to a different path, a different road of knowledge, new wisdom. You made corrections along the way. You made failures along the way, but you're still here in this moment, now, presently. Because of everything you've done, you're still here. So never give up. Never say it's over. Always know that it's going to continue on and you can fight any battle that may be thrown at you. And you can follow any path that you want. You like where you're at and you want to continue, that's fine too. Know this. I have confidence in you. I know that you're going to be fine. Even with the struggles that you're going to encounter, you're still going to be fine. Just use the past as a tool to get you through your future endeavors. And always remain focused on the present moment, because the more you realize where you are right now, alive, well, and able to conquer things that you've done in the past, that's all you need to know. And once you know that and you're comfortable with that, then you know your future is going to be fine. The future is not something to fear because it is not yet here. I wish you all my friends. I wish you all of the best in your present moment, and I wish you all the best of luck in your future. My name is Gary Dean with Eye Opener Society. Thank you again for joining me on this little bonus episode. Don't forget to tune into our regular episodes every Monday with my co-creator, Lizzie. And don't forget to tune into my Wednesday night guided meditation series, where I can take you on journeys through meditation. I thank you again. I think you're a wonderful audience. Be well, and I'll see you soon.